How's it going, Cave Dweller? Here we are. Here we are again. Testing. We're testing the microphone. Let's bring it closer. Hopefully I won't be tripping all over this mic stand, causing you turmoil as you have to listen to cracks and pops. But we're going to prevent that. There will be no cracks and pops because there's only going to be Papa Skrauss, the pop of all pops. You might say I am the popsicle of pop art. It's deep inside my frozen heart. We are at this time. When we get to this time, we'll be half over. When we get to this time, there will be a commercial. When we get to this time, there will be a commercial for a product that is near and dear to my heart. Here we are, Cave Dweller, working on this painting. If you had tuned into Periscope this morning, you would have seen some of that tunage. What's going on here? I feel like there's a shadow. There is no shadow. There is just, it's banded. This painting is banded because it's 3 panels. This panel, the main panel, overlaps or is the background for all the other panels. So it's a long shot, medium shot of the Lady of the Lake. Today I added some shade to her and some depth to her viscera here. I'm going to bring out that heart a little more really quick. Oh, my palette. I'm sorry, I'm unprepared. Here, look at Disco Jesus while you wait. Okay, can we see him? All right, I'll be right back. I forgot my water and I forgot my palette. All right, take time. Okay, Cave Dweller, thank you for being there for me. Thank you for waiting one and holding tight. This is a little bit awkward. I have a bucket of water on my wet fingers. Move the Picatrix. I have a palette on the table here. Yeah, my goodness. Okay, I filled that a little bit full. That's all right. We got it. It's covered. So, move this. You can see down here, this is my palette. It's soaking wet. I just scraped all of this junk off of my palette just now with my fingernails. All you have to do when you have an acrylic palette, if it's glass, like this is that fancy bulletproof glass, or I don't know what it is. I got it out of a machine. It came out of like a sandblasting machine. All you have to do when it gets caked with paint, soak it in water. So I was soaking it, and then I forgot I had to start the show. And I had forgot to scratch up all the... Everything just comes up really easily when it's soaking wet like this, which is why acrylic paintings will not last through the millennia. It's just not stable enough. It's always in movement and flux, and it sticks to itself. You don't... Even though oil paintings are always in a process of drying, you know, and emulsifying or whatever they do. They don't dry through dehydration. Excuse me, some of this water is too much water. I gotta get rid of it. Oh, I was gonna go and splash it outside, but I'll just take it in this jar. Oh my goodness. And every time I move something on here, I make a mess. I have to dry this now. Otherwise I won't be able to use it. Boom. That's all right. Put a big coffee can full of water on top of your electronic equipment. God, sometimes I'm just not... This has too much fabric softener to be absorbent. So I will use this paper towels. I personally don't use fabric softener. It just is just plastic. I hate it. I think it's disgusting. It smells horrible. It smells like chemicals. But, and it puts a plastic gunk in your washing machine and it turns your clothes hard. It's called fabric softener, but it actually hardens everything. It's disgusting. I inherited a bunch of rags from somebody who'd used a lot of fabric softener, so now I gotta use them up. Okay, so this is about as dry as it's gonna be. Paper towels. Martha Stewart would be envious. Hey, Cave Dweller, welcome to the set. Here we are. My screen is... Nothing smaller than your elbow should go in your ear. It's in the background vision gallery. I'm trying to... I'm using my computer, so it's... There. Alright. Let's begin. Painting this, I'm going to add some white to her sternum. See if I can finish this today. All I have to do is I have to make him a little more distinct. You see he's painterly and the hand is just line drawing. I'm going to keep it that way. I wanted the Lady of the Lake to be more line drawing. She's kind of a hybrid. Ivory black. Using a palette that is clean is so nice. Oh, where's my brushes? Oh, I got to put them away. Okay, let's see. I'm going to add... Her eyes are funny. My water. Well, Team Cave Dweller, it is around 4 p.m. Do you know where your children are? We're in lockdown. You better know where your children are. They better be locked down. There was a family I was painting for during this lockdown. They've canceled my paint job order, painting their living room, which I had to do it while they were using it. That's the worst thing. If you want a handyman to come and paint your place, prepare it. Move all your junk out of the room or to the center, throw a nice tarp over it. Do something so that I don't have to move it around myself. Crawl on it, step on your stuff. I hate that. I hate stepping on people's stuff. I like to treat their stuff as if it was my stuff, and I wouldn't want somebody stepping on my stuff. Anyway, there was a kid down the street. Every time I would leave, I would talk to this kid down the street. He just stood in his yard, watching things go by, watching me load up my truck. He was this really friendly kid. I struck up this conversation with him, and at the end, I told him I got to get going, and then he goes, "Okay, well, I'll catch up with you tomorrow." Catch up with you. I love it. I love kids like that. I love kids that are outgoing and eager to have a conversation, and they mimic the conversational stylings that they hear their parents use. I think it's delightful. I'm using ivory black because ivory black is translucent. It's semi-transparent, and I can go over some of these other things here and it will look, you can still see them through it, you see. Subdues the brightness of the orange there. Okay. We have a, okay, so now we have a sensation of things drifting back. Gotta add some black to this here. Alright, but I'm working on the Lady of the Lake. The Lady of the Lake. Excuse me as I try to enunciate properly. This is her sternum. Now to bring out some of that heart, I'll use alizarin crimson because it's so dark. I wonder if this is alizarin hue. I don't even know what it is because I put it in a tube myself. It came out of a jug, came out of a jar that was formerly owned by a teenage art student. And then she switched her major from art to teaching English. Good for her. All right, mannequins. Actually, what's great about alizarin is it's transparent, so I can just put it over everything. It makes everything that much darker. What's the color of a slice of skin? Flesh tone. What is the color of flesh tone? Blood. Flesh tone is blood. Ah, cave dweller. We're having a rip-roaring time already. I can feel it. Time's dragging. Mind if I take my shirt off? This is going to reveal that I actually wear... I'm in a sunbeam, so I'm a little warm, so I'm going to take my white shirt off. I don't like to paint informally, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to today. Now this is... Beneath this white shirt, another white shirt. I buy small because medium shirts are too baggy, although you can see where the shoulder starts here. It's like not right. Anyway. Alright, now suck my gut in. The water, okay, you can see her reflecting down. The skeleton should reflect down a little bit. Well, team, I may have just destroyed this painting. We'll find out. I'll go in there a little later and do some repair work. We have things in the background. Well, I don't have much to say today. I don't know what's on my mind. Let me think. What is on my mind today? Do you have any questions for me? I don't see any on the thingamajig. Turn this over to the side. No. On the live stream, there's no questions. I don't even think there's any viewers. Of course, I can't really tell. I don't know how it operates. I don't know how live streaming operates. I was looking at the recent issue of Toastmasters magazine today, and one thing it suggested for podcasting is focusing on something that you're talking about, and not what is that called? A theme? I guess having a theme. I don't have a theme. We can see under this red, this is cadmium red straight out of the tube, there's a green, and the simultaneous contrast is wonderful. I'm going to accentuate that a little bit. Or, I mean, I'm not going to accentuate it. I'm just going to let it love itself. Now, this is... I don't want to paint over the green in his eyes, but I'm going to have to because I'm changing his pupils. Because his pupils, this goes on screen, his pupils take you right off. And I want... Oh, maybe he'll have no eyes. Whoa! Look at that! No eyes. Can you see it? Can you make it out? Not really. You can't really make it out in that distant, tiny little picture. I'll have to bring him closer. I don't know if I can do that. This set is... I'm always experimenting with the set, Team Cave Dweller. I do it for you. I do it for you. This is like that. Let's bring it closer. I'm going to turn this guy sideways. And bring him in to you. Bring him into you. Yes. Okay, so now we can see. Now you can see that his face has now no pupils. I'm going to put the pupils back. Because everybody needs pupils. Everybody needs a little pupil in their life. I do. My favorite pupils were some kids in Atlanta that I did a live stream with, and we used Zoom, and it was great. It was like Blade Runner. Technically, I suppose I would have wanted him to be looking at his assailant, but I want him looking down. Ever see those guys with neck rolls? How do you develop that? How do you develop a roll in the back of your neck? I just can't foresee it happening to anybody, and yet I see it happen. I can't foresee it, but it just happens. Lady of the lake, speak to me. Tell me who you are and what you want. Okay, we got some boobage action. Kind of like, and then there's a rib cage, the flat screen. Okay, let's give her a... I wonder if I can make a mother of pearl. It'd be better if I just had the mother of pearl special effect paint. So what color is a seashell? Some kind of yellow, light yellow, creamy yellow. You can tell that the Harleys are out. It's good weather in Wisconsin when all the Harleys come out. They come out to play. All the octogenarians on their motorcycles. They're tough guys. Riding up and down, making a noise, making a stink. Yeah, that's him. The guy who fired up that one, he had ape hangers on his bike. How can you steer anything when the handlebars are over your head? And how you have to tether your wrists to the handlebars so that you can just relax sometimes. That's a lot of muscle work. It's too much of a workout to ride a motorcycle if you got ape hangers. Let's see what we got. How do I like that shell? It's alright, it's alright. I'm going to make this darker. And more purple. Let's add ultramarine violet. Because it's transparent. I love these transparent colors. I love adding layers. I see, yeah. Right. Sometimes the brush just doesn't do the trick. You gotta get in there with the fingies. And then get in there with the quinacridone red light. I mean, quinacridone. Oh yeah, quinacridone red light. No, quinacridone red. Quinacridone red light has too much orange in it, which is the opposite of blue. And so I want to use quinacridone red, or this is actually quinacridone magenta, which is even more blue than quinacridone red. Magenta has blue in it. It looks red, but it's magenta. So we'll add that to the sky. Now, see, it's too bright. I need to subdue this with my fingies. So I'm adding alizarin to quinacridone to put in this cloud. Nice dark blood red cloud over here too. The anatomy of clouds. Let's talk about it. You might notice that in special clouds that look like this, you could get a blood red cloud and then a blue cloud above it. The clouds in the atmosphere are stratified from horizon to zenith and in color as the sun does its thing. It hits these different strata at different times. So it looks like they're stripes. They're striped. So the darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. Now what's going on here? Let's add some black to that. I think I'm almost done, Team Cave Dweller. I think I'm almost done with this painting. Yes. So many things I don't like. This guy doesn't look surprised enough. Okay. Now to make him look more surprised, I'm going to have to add more white to his pupils, make his pupils smaller. That is, I'm adding white to his irises. There we go. That's pretty good. Give him some sweat. Well, now he doesn't have surprised eyebrows, so I've got to fix that. Which means and then it means so I just add a whole new color to his face. That's all it takes. Mimics multiple light sources. Gives the idea of multiple light sources. Or it gives the idea of incompetence. You tell me in the comments below. I don't see anything on here. No. Now this white is for his A shirt. This is called an A shirt. Or a sleeveless t-shirt. Or I learned on the package it's got another name. Not muscle shirt. What's this called? Sleeveless t-shirt. That's what it is. Also known as an A shirt. I love these things. They're like a sheath. So nice and tight. And then they got the ribs. They're cool. And he does extend below here. So why is this there? There's no reason for that. I lost control. That's why. I just flashed to a memory of this place called, it's a strip mall, and it's not as cool as it used to be, but when I first encountered it, it had a Walgreens that still had a lunch counter. I remember I was standing, this is 1994, I was sitting at this lunch counter with my pal Will C. Gamble, and I said, I'm going to meet my wife here. I've never met anybody there. I never had money to go to a lunch counter. I was living the impoverished dream of a donation-based starving evangelist. It was my dream to live with nothing but a mat and a Bible. I had these fantasies of sitting under the bridge of a freeway and just reading my Bible. Those dreams die hard. This was, now his skin was created somehow, and I don't know how, so I'm going to use raw sienna Add some white. I'll even mix this. What is this? Violet oxide. Mix some of that in there. See what happens. That's too high. So I'm going to hit it with some cadmium red. I'm running out of all my paint. That's right, I never use a cadmium red, so it doesn't matter if I run out. His neck should be about here. There you go. That's better. And he's got the punk stylings of a mohawk. Straight out of the 80s, straight out of Mad Max. Better give him an earring then. Hey Mad Max, welcome to the world of earrings. Back in the 80s when it was cool for a man to have one earring, there's a great album cover for a band called Max Q where they composited into 6 pieces the faces of the band, and there's one earring. Well, one ear with 2 earrings in it. Let's see if we can reproduce that. And I thought, man, that is so cool. I wanted to get a big honking fat earring, like a pirate. I couldn't find one at the time. And nowadays, of course, 20 years later, 30 years later, people are going around with gauges in their ears so that their earlobes just droop like a weak inner tube with all the air let out. Okay, he's got an earring here. Okay, that's it for that guy. Put these black lines back in over here. Bish. Right in the puss. Alright, puss face. Now we got lady leg, puss face. Okay, let's give the lady of the leg something to write home about here. lipstick. We need more makeup in life. I would wear makeup like the Egyptians. Or like Elvis, but I can't anymore because it's a taboo in society for men to wear makeup unless they're trying to make some kind of statement. Like, I'm gender non-specific, except that I am sexually specific. And that would give the wrong idea. She's disjointed here. I don't know why. Okay, so I don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to have to put this aside for now. What happened here? It's like I schmutzed on it when I was painting her. All right, let's put it aside. No, it's third from Ultimate episode of Pig Leg Monkey in the Underworld. And as I discovered looking at this a while back, this needs to be greener, more like this, and this needs to be more like this. That is, as subdued as that. So here we go again. The back and forth that's going on here is driving me nuts. It's going to be a 50-pound painting when I'm done, and it's going to be all titanium. You'll be able to melt the painting down and make the hull of a ship. Well, they're marching on Detroit, or they did already. They marched on Detroit. All the gun-toting wackos trying to make a statement, trying to take a stand. We will overthrow the government if you don't overthrow yourselves. That's a pretty good stand. I can get behind that. Government, something's got to be done. The government is designed to run for a small 13-colony federation. I'm a states' rights guy. I'm like, give all the rights to the states and take all the rights except for the unification of trade and military. Leave that to the Fed. There's an interesting thing in Mark Twain's book, Life on the Mississippi. He said it had to be regulated federally because the states could never agree on how to make things happen as far as dredging and putting up embankments to maintain the river, because the river keeps shifting. The Mississippi River is very old, but it moves swiftly when it wants to change its shape. It's got a long, comes down, it's got a long loop-de-loop like this. And over the years, the loop-de-loop gets more teardrop shaped until that point of the teardrop the river just breaks through it. And then you got an oxbow lake, right? And the river just cut out 90 miles of its own length. And so you suddenly, in this Oxbow Lake, here it's coming down, Oxbow Lake, on this end you had a riverfront town, which is now 45 miles away from the river. It's totally landlocked. That happens several times in the Mississippi. How do you prevent that? It probably doesn't happen anymore. Everything's probably concrete embanked. But it had to be done by the feds. The states, they just can't they can't unify anything. So something that's along the border of a state, like waterways, has to be managed by the Fed. Now, all the states along the Great Lakes have decided that if you don't live along the Great Lakes, you don't get any of our water. And I can get behind that because I live on the Great Lakes. I'm like, I don't want to give away our water. You should move here. Please don't move here because our traffic is wonderful. So there's all kinds of problems. Robert Heinlein had one of his characters give a child a lecture when she said disgustingly, politics. He gave her this big lecture about, don't you ever badmouth politics. That's what keeps us from bashing our own skulls in and having fights and physical wars and combat over issues. Politics keep the world civilized. I had to admit that it was a pretty good argument, but nevertheless, we wish that it wasn't so corrupt and full of back scratchery and gridlock. Ben Shapiro, somebody you may hate. If you're an artist, you may hate Ben Shapiro because he's conservative. He says, the government, the U.S. government, is set up for gridlock. That's how it's designed. It's designed for gridlock, not for expeditious movement, which in some ways is a brilliant foresight of the forefathers. Nevertheless, just nothing can get done, right? We get sick of that. We get sick of the only thing that can get done is the new president comes in and makes everything worse. Why? Well, it's like my painting. When I come in, I just make it worse. Vote for me for president. I'll do the same bang-up job for the presidency that I do on my paintings. 2 steps forward, 1 body length on my back backwards. Falling down on the job. Not because I'm drunk. All right, Kid Brother, I'm just riffing on my ideas of politics. You can feel free to leave your comments in the comments below. Now, I feel like I've just made the wrong choice by painting all this white because it looks like flesh tone. This pink wall is my undoing. We'll just leave it like that. Okay. Now, maybe it'll be all right. We'll see. It'll be all right. Thank you, Cave. Go. And then I can see what's happening. I've said it before, and I'll say it a million more times. Thank you for being here. So far, there aren't many of you here, but it doesn't. This performance that keeps me creating, and I appreciate it. I'm thankful for it. I have a book available. If you direct message me, if you contact me, I'll send you a copy. These stories take place. For instance, these are some new characters. The guy getting punched in the face. Maybe he's a pirate. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, this has to be a lighter green. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll use this violet that I already have on the palette, and the red in the violet will subdue the green. Okay, that's a lot of yellow. And it didn't work. I need blue. You can't even tell. I can't even tell that it's green at all. It didn't turn green at all. So I need to add blue. The violet was too weak. That's the thing. And I was using cadmium yellow. Now I have too much blue, so it's a little bit dark. Drat. Blast it. I'm going to have to add white. This is how you lose lots of paint. But I'm not going to add that white to the mixture that I just mixed. I'm just going to add it to this little bit that's on my palette knife. And that does the trick. That gives me the institutional green that I want. Nice and creamy, not too dreamy. Let me tell you a story. I was about to give up on art. This is actually twice I was about to give up on art. I was about to take all my paintings and throw them in the trash. And one time, I consulted the I Ching. And I was like, and not only just throw them in the trash for scavengers to find, but I was going to smash the wooden supports, and I was going to shred the canvas. There's no way I'm going to spend my life painting and then just give it away for free to somebody. You know? And there's no way. You wouldn't show me the respect to buy a painting when I was, you know, in the game. Now you're going to just scavenge my remains? No. It was going to be destroyed. So I consulted the I Ching, and I said, I Ching, should I do this business with getting rid of my paintings? And I landed on a hexagram that said, what you're about to do is a rash decision, and you're about to do it because you're frustrated at your situation. Wait before you make that decision. So I was like, well, damn, okay. I guess you told me, I Ching. It applied perfectly to my situation. Another time, later, I was thinking, What am I doing? I'm not even an artist. Why am I even bothering? So I consulted a thing that I found on the internet called a random knot. A random knot is a situation where you plug in your radius and the distance you're willing to move. The distance you're willing to move, a radius, and it takes your geographic location and gives you a random point on Google Maps. And then you go there and you see what you discover. You see what you find on your way. And I asked it, should I give up on art? Why am I even bothering? I mean, am I wasting my time? What should I do? And it took me through Washington Park in Milwaukee's ghetto. Washington Park used to have the zoo back in my mom's youth's day. But now it's just ghetto and run down. But they're bringing it back. The park they're working on conservation and native species and in plants and things like that. They're really doing a good job. I don't think there's many gunfights there anymore. So as I'm walking through in the middle of the day, mind you, in the middle of the day when everybody should be at work, it should be empty. I had a VA appointment, so I was coming back from the VA, and I took that detour. And I run into my buddy, Eric Johnson, whom I went to undergrad with as a painter, and we got to talking, and I didn't even tell him what I was doing, but out of the blue, he's like, I think it's important for you to keep painting. So I'm like, again, I guess the synchronicity engine told me. Today, a third time, I was listening to Jordan Peterson on his podcast on my way in, and I passed a bar called, it has a pun, something like, it's something you don't want, something like Dizzy Izzy's or Ike's Puke Lounge. It's something weird. It's not like that bad, but part of the sign had fallen off on the marquee where they had like different events posted. And it's at an intersection. As I'm waiting in this intersection, Jordan Peterson says, "You need a goal. You need to find a goal." And I look up at this bar, and the only thing left in the marquee was the word art. Bada bing. The synchronicities, my soul keeps telling me I must pursue art, so I'm pursuing it, and that looks a lot better. That lighter shade, that works a lot better. So I like that a lot. I'm going to actually use a wider brush and move it over to here as well. Move it more over here, but move more of it over there. That's what I'm trying to say. So, Team Cave Dweller, I don't know what's in store for my life. I don't know, but what I need to do, apparently, is pursue art and pursue it harder. Most of my life, I've just been sort of waiting for it to pursue me. Like, won't somebody help me? I'm telling you, team, if you're stuck in life, you have to make your own opportunities. And I'm just learning that now at the age of old. Find it out at the age of young. Learn to make your own opportunities. That's what Jordan Peterson is all about. He helps you do that, which is why I love him so much. I wish he had been around when I was a youth, looking for somebody who was wise, not finding anybody. Well, he was busy. He was becoming the wise man that he now is. And the vehicle that he's riding, the internet and new media, didn't exist at the time. So many things had to come together for Jordan Peterson to come and help us all out. Well, thank God they're all there. This now is a darker portion of wall, so I can add more red to it. It's not quite in the light. Same light. It's not got the same light. Add some. Okay, Team Cave Dweller, another thing that's on my mind is your biome. Not only your gut biome, but the bacterial biome on your skin. Particularly in those parts that we like to not think about. Armpits, other crevices. Loaded with bacteria, Team Cave Dweller, loaded with it. And what do? We do everything we can to avoid its existence and pretend that it's not there. So I stopped using those products, deodorants and things, and I can smell myself, as predicted. I don't know if anybody else can smell me. Nobody's said anything yet. No, nobody's saying anything. I don't see any comments. Let me know if you can smell yourself once you stop using chemicals on your body. Chemicals on our body. Who told us this was a good idea? Toothpaste is one of the worst. I use baking soda. Somebody tell me if the halitosis is impenetrable. Another thing is we should just get used to these smells. They're not bad smells when you think about it. They're strong. They're powerful. But they're not horrible. It's not like the smell of decayed flesh that used to be your mother. Okay, now this rug, we got this. This should be in there, but I think it's funny how it is here. I might have to change it, but I think it's just so funny how I got misplaced. Now we got this wall. Everything's looking good. I have to bring out some of the... What if the Montgomery Blanc drawing is black and the Panama Dorado drawing was white? That might be interesting. Let's try that. Ooh, and I'll give her a nice sparkly outline of Kirby Crackle. Where's my liner? My liner brush. Oh, you know what time it is? It's time for many things. I forgot to tell you about the fun that we're going to do over here, and we didn't do it, and I didn't do the book review, and over here is a commercial. So here comes the commercial. This episode of Image for Hire Live Painting with the Skrauss is brought to you by this jar of groundwater. This groundwater comes out of a 500-year-old well in Milwaukee. The only municipal well artesian left in existence. It overflows at 50 gallons an hour into a concrete basin. 2 concrete basins. Cheers. I'm drinking them out of Disco Jesus. Disco Jesus, preserve us. Hits the spot. No chemicals. No fluoridation. No chloridization. Chlorine. No chlorine. Fluoride is poison, and they're just dumping it in our water. And you know why they're dumping it in our water? Because it's a byproduct of some kind of industrial process, and they didn't know what to do with it. It's toxic. And they're like, hey, let's put it in the water. And they sell it to municipalities. Totally unnecessary, totally evil, totally bad. I recommend you. And bottled water is just tap water that somebody put in a plastic bottle, and the plastic leaches chemicals and estrogen primarily into the water. These things are bad! In 100 years, people will be looking back on our time thinking, what the hell were they thinking? Just like we look back on Upton Sinclair's time and say, ooh, what the hell were they thinking? How could they even live like that? Now we know we're doing the same thing. This is Panama Dorado's bed. Mattress. Okay, I'll give her like a fuzzy thing. This is the edge of the room, floorboards. Ceiling is up here. Okay, we're looking through her doorway. Not through her doorway, but we're looking through an X-ray of her doorway. You just got a crown molding. This is a bookcase. This room is patterned after this is actually a closet. Oh, it's got 2 doors. I forgot about that. Okay, let's draw the other door here. Excuse me. This is patterned after my girlfriend's. When I had a girlfriend, she had an apartment like this, with a closet that had 2 doors and you could put a bed in it. So it was billed as a 1-bedroom unit. But they couldn't call it a bedroom because it didn't have a window. Maybe they called it a studio. What? Doorknobs down here. Use my non-absorbent rag. Now I can pretend that there's light coming in from this transom into the space. I don't believe she actually had a transom into the closet, but that's all right. This apartment was built in the 20s or earlier. Now the character Panama Dorado has no right arm. So I have to eliminate that right arm. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw her like this. She's got the meat end. You know, the meat end. It's like a steak in a cartoon. The reason she's got the meat, an unhealing meat end, is because the rest of her arm is trapped in the third dimension. Preserved forever as art. So it's not actually chopped off. It doesn't hurt her at all. It's just not there. It's somewhere else. Where's the... So for all intents and purposes, it's chopped off. So what happens? Does that mean bacteria can get into her stump end? Probably. Books. Oh, okay, so we got a... What a... you know what? I can't believe this human being known as my ex-girlfriend. She hated books. She was a biblical scholar who hated books. Can you freaking imagine that? My God. She's always telling me to get rid of my books. And then she would tell me, hey, somebody gave me their theological library. She didn't even read. Telling me to get rid of my books. Ugh. The day she dumped me is the day I dodged a bullet. My only regret is that I wasn't proactive enough to do it myself. Well, but we'll say this person has books because she's practicing black magic, so she probably has lots of books. Okay, this goes like that. And then up here. Get rid of my books. My goodness. I'm telling you, I enjoy two things in life. Reading and sleeping. And she was telling me to get rid of my books. Who would do that? I know. Somebody who was jealous of them. That's it. I knew it. I knew it was something like that. Of course, she's got a skull, because every wizard has a skull. I mean, not just the one they're wearing. All right, and let's put a Hermanubis up here. Okay, so more books. When I am painting and I'm, let me see. Okay, so this goes here and this goes like this. Okay, so we've got the books here. Can you make that out? Well, it's hard to make anything out with it. You can sort of make it out, right? The lines bring out the figure of the character that was in there that was probably hidden in darkness before. Okay, Dollar, we're almost out of time. I smell burnt meat, which means it's time to fill my stomach full of the delights of awesomeness. You know what? This residency I have here at Revision Gallery is the greatest thing in the world. I get 1 square a day and a stipend, and I get to live stream, and all I have to do is pretend to move some stuff around. It's great. Don't tell the gallery owner that I'm only pretending, that I'm faking it. I mean, tell her I work hard. Okay, Team Cave Dweller, I got some things done. It seems like I got nothing done. It seems like I talked too much, but subduing these walls was one of the most important things. And let me put some color to match in there before I forget what it is. I'm going to use this green that I already have on my palette. This light color. There we go. And then I better do this then. Yeah, that's better. You know, there was a time in my life where I was, like I said, 2 times where I was going to just give up art. I just couldn't take it anymore. But thanks to you, I'm back in love. The best time I ever had as an artist was when I was in undergrad and I had a studio that people would come and visit all day long. I'd get there at 8 a.m. and stay till 10 at night. Just painting and writing stories and schmoozing. It was so great. I want those days back. And they have come back, thanks to you. So, I'm about to sign off. Remember to like, comment, share below. And the most important thing you can do for me here on YouTube, follow me. Follow me and hit the alert button, because I want you to see my work and I want you to see the process of the artist and I want you to learn, and maybe you too can avoid the pitfalls of the mistakes of my life. Cave Dweller, let me help you. Thank you. I'm going to use my trackball remote control, and I'm going to end the stream. I love you. Okay, now I'm ending the stream for sure. Love you.